What's going on, AJ?
What up, B-Mac? In the house tonight. Let's go. Hey, guess what?
Wait, Birdie Mac?
All I know is that I don't know.
Nothing.
All I know is that I don't know nothing. Shout out to you, man. You got me fired up with your Operation before the show. That was a complete surprise.
I should have started the show
thanks
earlier.
to your emo friends. Yeah, bands like that died. So thanks for that.
What?
And we're already frozen.
Are we frozen? Oh, no. So, yeah, are we frozen? Really?
No, you're back.
We're back? Okay, listen, we got to tell everybody right now, this is going to be one hell of a show. We always have, issues whenever the show happens, technical issues.
Several.
However, there's something up with my internet connection, and I tried everything. I've even gone past the router and just plugged directly into the wall, and there's still problems. So I think that I think that there's got to be some internet problems happening here in Worcester. Fingers crossed that we can get through the show and have it not be an absolute disaster. But that's not going to be the case. So buckle up, you guys.
And if you're lucky, it'll pause or freeze right on the screen when one of my eyes is closed and the other one is only showing white.
Right. Oh, good. You guys heard the Operation Ivy conversation. Tatum said, "I love Operation Ivy." That's wonderful. All right, wonderful. All right, guys, let's go. Let's do this before we freeze again. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. This is PSVR GAMESCAST Live. We film live every single MonJay, Wednesday, and 2 Eyes Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure, but we also care, AJ, about your oral pleasure so much. We care so much about your oral pleasure. That's why our good friend Rob Pop puts it up on podcast services of your choice. My name is Bryan Pop. This channel right here without Parole, and this guy over here to my left and me right. It's AJ from the underground. PSVR underground.
What up, Bryan? What is up? Game Cats, happy Monday. And I know that Mondays usually suck. Yes,
end of story.
It's true. But we are here, Bryan, to ensure their Monday sucks. Just a little less.
Sweet.
I asked you how you doing, Bryan, and how was your weekend? Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. But I'm afraid to ask you questions like that now because I don't ever know the answer I'm going to get. Sometimes I get an answer I didn't really want.
Well, I spent my entire weekend filming with virtual strangers.
Me too. Make sure you guys, if you missed it, make sure you go over to Virtual Strangers, our sister company.
Sister company. Part of our LLC.
Our sister channel. Where Wes, Roots, Eric, and a bunch of special guests, or a couple special guests, did how long was this one? Was this one like 10, 15 hours?
Bro,
they're crazy like that.
I don't know. I was hoping you knew because I didn't have time to tune in. I was with my parents and my niece and nephew for most of the day yesterday. And then by the time I got home, I was like too tired to even like watch or get anything done. So I know that my segment alone was like 2.5 hours. We started filming. I probably have this wrong. We started filming at like 11:30 p.m. and we didn't finish till 2 a.m. So yeah, 2.5 hours.
15.5 hours, says
Whoa.
Ace Gamer Cat. That is nuts, man. And I figured it was long because there was a part 2, and Wes told me when we were streaming that Wes told me that YouTube will only let you live stream for like 12 hours at a time. So I figured it was more than 12 hours when I saw that part 2 go up. But dude, shout out to them. That is a lot of, that is a week or 2 weeks worth of listening content for you there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, and I kind of love the way they do it because it is actually a live stream, but like they're constantly being able to take breaks by playing things like your segment or my segment, and being able to like step away and like, I mean, honestly, if you're playing a 2.5 hour segment so that you can walk away from the live stream, you can like go take a nap. You can go take an hour nap, have some dinner. I mean, it's like I think it's a pretty smart way to do it, honestly. So.
But cool stuff, man. And shout out to BJ from Urban Wolf Games, who gave me a shout out and didn't know at the time that it was pre-recorded. And everyone kept telling him, and he's like, he was probably like, I know, like I get it now. It's not live. But no, shout out BJ, man. Love you, man. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to you, my friend.
I didn't get a shout out from BJ.
No.
What?
Who
What?
shout you out? Psh.
What? That's it. Legendary Tales falling very far in the next top 25. Wow. Amazing.
No.
Yeah. AJ, what have you been playing, man? Been playing anything good since the last time I talked to you? I think anytime I see your name on Discord, you're just playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy Rebirth because like that's, my favorite game of all time. After art, I've kind of had a change in philosophy. Like I did this thing with PSVR 1 where I played pretty much every single game to completion.
Yeah.
And I hated my life after that. So I decided like, hey, I want to play stuff that interests me or stuff that is fun. I want to have fun. There's some stuff I'll check out, but yeah, after Arcane Age, I was like, I want to take we covered, there was a lot of big games that came out recently. Arcane Age, Metro, Behemoth, Alien, Subside. There was a lot of stuff. And after that, I was like, okay, time to now have some fun because the PC VR scene is kind of, using my PSVR2, of course, it has kind of become like my little fun relaxation away from the work side of all this. So yeah, I've been playing Crisis VR mod,
Wow.
which just dropped. Yeah, it's the original 2007 version of Crisis. I don't know if you ever played that game, but it's actually one of my favorite shooters of all time. It's really, really good. And they made like the same guy that made the Half-Life 2 VR mod did this. So really, really good. It's got motion controls and everything. IK, really, really cool. Suit engaged. And then I've been playing probably the greatest gaming experience of my entire life, which is Prey Dog's UEVR mod with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I literally, that consumed my entire weekend. I got about 17 hours into it. And it's like, I'll tell you what I love about VR, man, and why I have this philosophy of like, and this belief in VR, and why like every single game needs a VR mode. It's because playing your favorite game in VR is really special. And it's basically the equivalent. You ever told yourself like, hey, I wish I could erase my memory and do that again? It's
I mean, I used to say that, but now like I don't really remember anything that happened more than 3 or 4 months ago.
Now you're like, I wish I could remember playing this.
Right. Like, oh.
But no, like playing, revisiting a game, and a game that you love or whatever in VR is like basically experiencing it all over again.
Yep.
And yeah, I kid you not, playing this Final Fantasy VII remake has literally been the greatest experience in my gaming life of all time, ever since playing Final Fantasy VII in VR Final Fantasy VII when it originally came out.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could adopt a similar strategy or outlook on playing VR games as you, AJ. But I got to play everything. I got to play all the crap. And I got to tell you, man, that today before the show, I played a couple different games that I think we need to talk about. And the first one I want to bring up, man, is one that kind of dropped out of nowhere on the PlayStation Store a few days back. And we got keys for it. I got thanks developers, I guess, for sending these keys along. It's Gorilla Attack. It's a $5 game, AJ, that I didn't pay for, and I still feel ripped off.
That's gonna probably sell a lot just for being $5. If that
probably
ridiculously long titled racing game taught us anything.
Oh yeah, Grand Rush VR, highway car traffic racing simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. This looks like Rampage in VR, right? Like you're a big gorilla, big you know, I don't know.
I love
King
Rampage.
Kong type monster. I never have.
I
People
know.
are gonna hate me for
And
this, but I've never liked it.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Because I remember you saying this a long time ago, and I love the original Rampages. I played a lot of them. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You know what? And so, like, doing it in VR, I thought, like, oh, this could be fun, right? And I thought I was gonna be able to climb up buildings and you know, smash them and whatever. Listen, it doesn't even look good. You can tell by this gameplay that I'm showing off right now that, like, it might have a nice frame rate and it's got this big open city, but it's all like so bland. Like, even the color choice they use, this is not a colorful city, right? Like, even the blues and the greens that they use are just like dull and boring, and it looks even more boring. It looks even more bland in VR. And so, and you go in and, like, you know, you're smashing buildings and you're so close to them because you're punching them and they're falling down. And then, of course, you know, because of Sony's QA, I'm sure the screen fades to black constantly because it's like, oh, your head is like near the building that you just destroyed or something. And so frequently when you're playing this game, it's like you don't even see the destruction you're causing because it's just like the screen just keeps fading to black, and it's kind of annoying. But you can jump around. You can climb buildings. You can destroy pretty much anything. You can pick up
punch
cars,
out, like, windows or like room.
Nope.
Buildings?
No, you basically just punch the building itself, and it like divides into like 3 or 4 different segments, and then falls down. And it's not even like a really satisfying destruction.
So you can't like punch the window out and then like grab somebody and eat them.
No. This is not Rampage.
It's not
right?
Rampage.
They took anything good from that game
and
did not include it in this. Yeah. So what I did, I played the free play mode for, I don't know, probably 10, 15 minutes, and then realized you can't do anything there. Like, you just walk around the city and you cause destruction. And then I didn't realize that there was like a challenge mode where, like, you knock out these challenges one by one. So the first thing you saw was me trying to get from one end of the city to the other, and they like cordon you off. You only have like this narrow area to go through, and they remove your ability to destroy buildings. So you literally have to climb over each one. And I was like, this is stupid. However, for people who like easy platinum trophies, this shockingly has a platinum trophy, and you could probably get it in about 30 minutes. Right? So there's another challenge that says eat as many bananas as you can. I don't think there's a time limit. You just walk around and you find all the bananas in the city and you eat them. There's no one's attacking you. Nothing. The third challenge is rockets are being fired at you, and you grab them out of the air and you just turn them around and face them toward buildings, and you destroy buildings with the rockets. Like, it's very, very simple, but I mean, it's not fun in the slightest. Yeah. So only
seems
if you
better.
really
It seems pretty decent on paper, but execution, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There was a game on PSVR1 called VR Robot, and like, that was better than this. And it was more, you could do more. Yeah, and you actually, you could actually pick up buildings and throw them at other buildings and stuff. Like, you felt more powerful in that game. This is just bland.
This what?
Oh, I don't know.
I was just gonna say, of the weird, goofy, kind of like just obscure kind of games like this.
Yeah.
The only one I think I ever kind of liked was 100-Foot Robot Golf.
Oh, yeah, and even that was a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was silly. It was fun to stream.
Nice. Cool. I also played a little bit of the Obsessive Shadow. And the developer was nice enough to send me a build for that on Quest 3. So I think there's like a demo out on Quest 3, but there's actually he sent me a developer build so I could get an idea of what the full game was like. And if you're not familiar with that game, then maybe you didn't watch the GAMESCAST where Wes and I kind of broke down the initial trailer of it when they said it was coming to PSVR2. And maybe you didn't see the trailer that was shown today on the PlayStation YouTube channel, which is featuring actual PlayStation VR2 gameplay. AJ, this is a very small game made by a one-person dev team, and you can tell that they are a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan. You're wandering around. Okay, because can we talk about this trailer for a second? It's so goddamn dark. Like, what? How are you supposed
it's
to tell?
Supposed to be.
Yeah, but
I
come
mean,
on.
I agree. I agree. It's really dark and hard to see.
Yeah.
But I actually think I think this is a rare case where that actually kind of worked to its advantage in terms of like, you know, providing a little bit more atmosphere and tension. I know, yeah, like I was actually kind of surprised. Like I was like, this is really dark, but it actually kind of works for me.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear because I thought it was just too dark. You know, it's like you got to be able to like show something. You got to be able to show something to the people watching it. And also, it's interesting. It ends with H1 2025 instead of Q1 or Q2 2025. Is like, I'm assuming that just means first half of 2025, which is I've never seen that before. But cool. It's
Well, if it was light, all you'd see is just like a low poly house or something. So
yeah.
I really think it works to its advantage here.
Well, I mean, listen, it's not the greatest looking game on Quest 3, but it's fine. You know what I mean? It's like it gets the job done. I think what's going to be great about the PlayStation VR2 version is that it'll use it'll feature dark blacks, right? The Quest version is very gray, and it still manages to be scary. But like, you know, when you're actually walking through a very, very dark house with only a flashlight, like I do think that the PSVR2 version is going to look better. And the dev already told me that like it's going to run at 90 native, if not 120 native. You know, but so no worries about like reprojection or anything like that. I don't know if you ever played Emily Wants to Play, AJ, but that's what this game reminds me of. You're like basically delivering a pizza or something like that to a house, and then but there's all these rules you have to follow. Like if you see this type of creature pop up, you have to like not look at it or stand very still, right? There's all these different rules. Nick was comparing it to Dread Halls, which I kind of understand, but it's not. It doesn't feel like Dread Halls. It feels way more like Emily Wants to Play. And so you have to learn all these rules and what you're supposed to do. And you know, if you see these shadow outside the window peering in, you have to take your flashlight and shine it at the shadow who's looking into the window, and he'll go away. If your flashlight goes out, that means you have to stand really, really still until you hear the audio cue, right? Or the shadow will get you. And then you can turn on your flashlight and start moving again. If you see the shadow inside the house, you have to look away until he's gone, right? And so it's a $10 game, and it feels like a $10 game. But if you like horror and you like jump scares and you know you're kind of down for something like this, I do think there's something here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, wish them all the best. Yeah, usually I you know, it's hard to impress me, let's just say, with a lot of indie trailers and whatnot that I see. Like a lot of times I see it, I'm just like, you know, I like indie games, but there's so many out there, excuse me, that I'm just like, I can't be bothered to play this. And this one looks like it could be fun. So this is one of the rare exceptions probably I'll make for a title like this. I might be inclined to check it out.
Well, if it releases before a Monday episode, I'm going to make you check it out. This is the only downside is that if you don't want to play games, I'm going to make you play some of them because you're here every Monday, AJ, and I can't be the only one playing Guerrilla Attack every week. Anyway, fingers crossed that this turns out good. You know, love supporting these small developers, and then you see what happens. They end up making bigger and better games.
That is true.
Usually. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't.
The developer of Arcane Age made Marvels, guys.
Right?
Let that sink in.
And Marvels was great.
Oh, I'm sorry, Twitcher. No, Marvels was not great.
It's fine. It's fine. People missing out on great games. We got Kava04 now with the 30 plantains in the chat. Sends us a heart. It also looks like she's heading off to bed. So sleep tight, Kava. Much love. AJ, before we get to some of the bigger news stories of the day, I want to talk about 90s extreme skiing.
Web systems.
Right. I haven't really had a chance to talk to you about this game. I feel like you and I both had some pretty bad first impressions, but then I think we both continued to play it and felt a little bit better about it. How are you feeling about this game currently?
Oh, it does have a very bad first impressions. Also, Snow Scout did too. For me, like it starts out really, really rough. It's really and janky.
Yeah.
But it took me like 3 times. It was kind of like I was about to give up on this game, and then I gave it a third shot. And then I started progressing through it and unlocking more levels and trying new levels. And I was like, okay, like there's something here. Now this is the thing. My overall thoughts on this is like this is very, very indie.
Mhm.
I don't think it's very high quality at all. I think it's kind of low quality, which is unfortunate. But I think that has to do with somewhat of the game just, such a quick turnaround time.
Yeah.
Like, and it shows. That shows in like the production values, the quality of it. I don't think it's a very high quality game. It's a very low quality game. But I do think that there is like a little bit of fun to be had here in this, and especially by taking all the basically sim stuff out of Snow Scout and just making a straightforward skiing game.
Yeah.
I think that kind of helps it in this situation.
I mean, yeah. I keep getting very confused about my thoughts on this game, because I'm like, well, I liked the skiing in Snow Scout. I liked the cross country skiing. I liked the downhill skiing. I really enjoyed trying to beat my own times or other times on the leaderboards. I had a good time with that. And then I played this and I go, well, this is just that part of it. Like, why am I not having so much fun? And I mean, and I think there's a few things happening here. First of all, it's like Snow Scout, like the downhill stuff on Snow Scout didn't feature like jumps in rails and stuff like that, right? And so they added that kind of stuff in, but there's no like jump button, and there's no grind button, and there's no like, I figured like I'd be able to pull a trigger and like, do weird things with my hands to like pull off some cool tricks and make my skis go in different directions and get points for that kind of stuff. That's what these games were all about, right? I mean, you think of it's called 90s Extreme Skiing. You think about all these different 90s games, all these different skiing and snowboarding games from the 90s, and it's all about pulling off amazing tricks. Like, I want to jump off a ramp and do a couple flips in the air. I want to do crazy shit.
Yeah.
And there's none of that. It's like you don't push a button to jump. You just go off of a ramp, and like whatever air you catch is the air you catch. And if you're on a grind rail, you just hope that you get enough momentum to keep moving forward. Like, there's no, it seems so lacking. So the stuff that they added, I felt like they didn't add enough of, right? They needed to add new mechanics to go along with the new this trick system or whatever they added. The voiceovers they added are just god awful.
Oof.
Like, they're trying to be
Horrible.
like they're trying to be very web systems, but it's so annoying because there's no nostalgia for the things that this person is saying, right? We think
that's
web systems
the
is
thing
hilarious.
about this game is I do not understand the 90s part. Like,
Yeah.
I think they should have just called it like Extreme Skiing VR.
Agreed.
Because they tried to make this like theme of 90s, and it's like, dude, y'all's 90s is nothing like my 90s. And like, I'm a huge 90s kid, so like that's a huge like important era for me, a whole decade. And like I was like, what is this? And the closest thing I could find doing some digging and some of the press materials is that the music is made by them, it was like the music was made by them in the 90s. And like that's
so
the closest
much.
to like 90s that this gets. I mean, I don't understand. Or the flags are like one's teal and one's pink, which was like, I don't get the 90s thing. I think that was a bad decision. But yeah, there's nothing like 90s about this to me.
Where is Tuner Max located? Are they in the Netherlands? Like, I forget. I always forget.
Yeah, I think they're in another. Yeah,
I feel like maybe like maybe their 90s were like our 80s or something, because I feel like this is really off.
Yeah, it looks more 80s.
Yeah.
It looks like late 80s to like 1992.
Yeah. I mean, no offense against Tuner Max, but like I don't like any of the 90s stuff that they tried to incorporate here. They have like Super Nintendo characters, like pixel art Nintendo characters like on the sides, and I'm like, that
Yeah.
doesn't fit here at all. Like, just get rid of those. I don't like the music, and I know that they made the music themselves. I'm like, sorry, like this. If you're gonna give me a '90s snowboarding game or '90s skiing game, it better be like the Tony Hawk soundtrack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
or if it doesn't feature Dragula by fucking Rob Zombie, then I'm sorry, then the soundtrack is broken.
I mean, it's not even grunge. It's
Right.
like there's no like I mean maybe there's some grunge songs. I don't know. I didn't unlock because you do like kind of find I like certain things about this. I like the progression system of the kind of Tony Hawk layout where it's like play this level and then, you know, go for the fastest speed, go for getting all the letters, go for getting the hidden CD, which gives you another song. And then like, you know, get this many points grinding, get this much air. I like that. It adds replay value to the levels and it just feels like you're working towards something. It flows nicely. But yeah, just I don't know. Like as it started to go on, I was like, okay, finally some of these tracks, because the first two tracks are so generic and so bad. And I was like, oh man, like this is going to be terrible. And then they start to get a little bit better. They start to get a little bit more colorful. You know, visually it doesn't look impressive or anything, but it's like, yeah, well, at least there's some variety here a little bit. And there's some speed. There's some decent like sense of speed. You know, you start going really fast and you get a little bit of headset rumble. Like I like some of the things about this, but it's just this game was just rushed way too quickly and it shows really, really bad. And it ends up kind of being like all the bad stuff about the 90s that made it in here and none of the good.
Part of me hopes everybody buys this and so that they can actually keep working on it and like, you know, turn it into something better, because I do think like fundamentally like there's a good idea here. It's just like, you know, lots of tracks to ski on and, you know, again, like you said, you know, picking up the Tony Hawk style progression system, like finding the MEDAL letters across the I enjoyed that stuff. But listen, I mean, I had the same experience as you. I hated it the first couple times I played it, and then by the third time I was like, okay, this is okay. But this is really like, you know, on the without parole grading scale, like this is really like a 5.5, you know, which means it's like it's passable. And that's about the extent of it. Passable, you know? And it's like the more you play it, the more you like it, but it's just like it really needs so much more. And today, AJ, version 1.000.010 came out. It's funny because it came out the developer at Tunamax, Callie, sent me an email 3 minutes after I turned off the game. I played it. I played it because I wanted to have new impressions of it for GAMESCAST. And then as soon as I was done getting all this footage, then they dropped the update today. And so now you can adjust the colors for the flags. You don't have to have the purple and teal anymore, AJ. They've implemented an extreme mode. And so I think this is going to feel more like Snow Scout skiing now, because it says this is to disable anti-motion sickness restrictions, so you can actually ski backwards and stuff like that now. So I think you have a little more flexibility in skiing. As I was gonna say, I didn't think the skiing felt as good as it did in Snow Scout, and so I'm hoping that was the reason. But I'll get back to it. There's improved particle effects and PS5 Pro support, which introduces 1.5x super sampling, which is good because it's sharp enough, but it's not a super sharp game. And so like a little bit like just adding that 1.5x super sampling, I think is gonna make it look nice.
I mean, the textures are so basic anyways, like it doesn't make a huge difference. Like it could be as sharp as possible. It still looks like a quest game. Like an indie quest game. I don't know. The best thing this has going for it is just that it's straightforward tracks and there's an okay progression system. But really, I think everything is better about Snow Scout. I actually really liked Snow Scout. And yeah, I think that game was actually pretty good. And I liked the blend of like kind of like a ski resort simulator with mixed in with actual skiing. Like it just had a lot more charm and like heart in it, it seems like. And this seems more like just basically what it is, which is just a side project that was just kind of spat out real quickly. That's about it. But there's a couple, like I said, it could be worse. It's not like terrible. Like there's actually a little bit of fun to be had, but it's just also not very good either.
Yeah, I agree. Really want this to be better. And again, I have no idea what it would take for them to add like an actual trick system. I don't want it to completely.
Yeah, wait. So is there no trick system? Because there's a thing that says perform tricks and get the score.
I mean, listen. Then I have no idea what's happening because I did the tutorial and it was the same tutorial as Snow Scout. And all it did was teach me to ski. They literally
copied and pasted the tutorial from Snow Scout, and it doesn't even have like all the things, like anything from this game. It's got how do you French fry and how you pizza, and that's it.
Is that what those things are called? How you French fry and pizza?
Yeah, like you French fry, and then you pizza to slow down.
I think I'm gonna French fry and pizza for dinner.
And tonight. if you French fry when you're supposed to be pizzaing, Brian, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay.
Have you ever heard the story about the first time I ever went skiing, AJ?
No.
So I went with I was young, man. I think I was like 12 or something like that, and I'd never been skiing before. And my buddy Andrew was like, "It's gonna be fine." Like I thought I would get there and I rent my skis and then I'd go to like a class or something like that. And he was like, "It's fine. It's totally fine. You're gonna be fine. Just whatever, right, dude?" So we went to the ski lift, which was it's not the one you sit in, right? It's just the one you kind of grab onto the pole and like it's like the upside down T and it sort of just pushes you, right? And so that thing came and knocked me over.
Shit!
They had to stop it because like some kid like in the middle of the ski lift, and they're like, "There's a kid laying down. We gotta stop." They had to stop the ski lift until I was like out of the way. And I get up to the top of the mountain, and my buddy's like, "It'll be fine." And this isn't. I mean, it wasn't like some Black Diamond trail, but it was. It was definitely for beginners. He's like, "You'll figure it out on the way down."
I'm much more of a snowboarder than a skier. I've tried skiing like once, and like I just love snowboarding. I became obsessed with it. And the first thing I did once I got to like an actual track, the first time I did like a just more than just a practice course, the first thing I attempted was a backflip, and I actually did it, but I crashed. Like I actually the first thing I did was attempt a backflip. Or was it a front flip? I don't remember, but it was a flip, and I did the flip, but I didn't stick the landing, and my dead Kennedy's hoodie flew up, and it like scraped my entire back. It was painful.
But was the hoodie okay?
The hoodie was fine.
Perfect. That's awesome.
But it was a great first experience snowboarding.
Nice. Well, long story short, AJ, I did not learn to ski on the way down the mountain, as my friend Andrew told me that I would. And so all I did was I French fried the whole way, did not try to avoid any like jumps or anything like that. And so I was just going over all of them and just being like getting so much air and being like, oh my God. And just like my knees like are frozen and I'm like landing, but like not, I'm just I'm a statue going down, and so I'm like running people over and shit. Like it's bad news. And I get to the very bottom, and I don't stop because I have no idea how to stop these skis, and I just go all the way until I run onto the parking lot. And
Jesus.
Yeah, I think I destroyed my rental skis.
Oh my goodness, yeah. They'd be done after that.
Yep. That was my first experience skiing. I can't believe I ever did it again because it was by the end of the day I was okay. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
But that being said, man, like I do love the idea of a skiing game or snowboarding game in VR. Yeah. So like you said, despite this game being so rough, and yeah, just like really, really rough, I do hope they kind of continue working on it. I hope they add a snowboard in it, and just polish it up, man. Like this. They should have. I think they really should have like spent more time on this.
Yeah,
and get some different voice acting. And
I turned the voice acting off. That's how bad it is. I've literally I always want to play the game the way that they designed for me to play it. Right. That's why when a lot of people are like, I turn the music off and I just put on some Spotify in the background. I was like, no, man, like I want to hear the music. Like I want to, because I want this game to be its own thing. Like you want to set a tone, then I want to hear that music that you're setting the tone with. And so, so this is the first time in probably years that I turned off the voices. I left the music on. But
yeah, I think that was my hint. I think that was my pro tip to you. I was like, just make sure you turn off the voice and turn off the music and put on Spotify.
It's way more tolerable that way.
It's way more tolerable.
Yeah. Yeah. I do hope that they can reconsider the 90s theme of this and just give us a good skiing game. Get rid of those pixel art characters. I don't know.
I thought the pixel art characters were one of the only two 90s things in this.
Listen, if they decided, if they could get like the whole course to look like it's basically pixel art that you're sliding down, I would get it, right? But I don't get what they did here. I don't know. It just doesn't go together at all. Yeah. Like the leaderboards don't look like they're 16-bit. Like nothing does. So I don't know. It's just very kind of like a mishmash of ideas, and I don't like the way it looks. But anyway, like I said, it does seem like the more you play it, the more you'll like it, and the more you'll kind of like learn to tolerate the things, like the fact that you have to recalibrate every single time you start a new race. I look down every single time before I start a new race, and I'm 3 feet to the left of my skis. And you have to recalibrate every single time. I have not moved a single inch. My feet are planted on the ground. I'm not walking around while I'm skiing, so I don't know why I have to recalibrate every single time I start. Yeah. Looper says just enable auto center. I did. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. Oh, I could. There's an option in the menu to auto center. It didn't do anything. Auto center was broken for me.
I had to do this with Snow Scout too, where I had to press both joysticks in and then press them again to
get off your skis and get back on.
Yeah, to recap. I had to do that every single time you entered a new area, every single time, and it's the same issue. So it's whatever. The one good thing it has going for it is that the track designs themselves are decent. Yeah. Like the courses are okay. But yeah, like you said, the grinding feels off. There's no grind button, and the way you have to like line it up and hit the right speed, right angle perfectly. I mean, I can like again, like you could in some cases make an argument for that, but it just doesn't feel like it's was well designed. It feels it's not like this. Oh, it's intentionally like that kind of thing. It's like no, it's just kind of bad.
Yeah, I also would like if they increase the maximum speed, right? Because like you're doing this, you're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're doing this, and like you're still at your maximum speed. You're only going so fast, and it's like, man, I want this to be 90s extreme skiing. I don't want this to be 90s. It's all right skiing.
Well, an avalanche coming after me, and a abdominal snowman that eats you up. There you go.
Andrew C says, I don't buy games to tolerate them. Andrew C says, I don't buy games to tolerate them. And we agree. You shouldn't be buying games to tolerate them. That's why we're tolerating them for you and basically telling you probably not worth your time.
That's 100% sums it up. It's like, I don't want to just be tolerating games. Like that's stupid. That's a waste of everybody's time.
Well, AJ, a game that we hopefully will not have to tolerate and that we should hopefully enjoy right from the get-go is an upcoming game called Wander.
Hold on, real quick. I got to correct myself here. I said abominable snowman. It's abominable snowman. What am I thinking here? Abdominal snowman, Brian?
Abdominal?
Just a giant abdomen. That's white fur coming after you.
That snowman is ripped, AJ. It's ripped.
It's a rat says, where's the Yeti? I should have just said Yeti. The fuck's wrong with me? Anyways, sorry, I had to correct myself because I'm just an idiot sometimes.
Dude, I'm an idiot 24/7. Don't you can correct me? It's like just pointless because I'm still gonna screw it up next time too. Awesome Tatum says, I'll just play Fract if I want to ski in VR. Yeah, Fract had some good skiing segments, but it's like even that. I wanted that to be better. Remember they took the poles away from us in Fract? It's like we all had poles skiing pre-launch. Yeah. And then they took them away for the full release and we're like, where are our poles?
Like one person complained about it and they removed it. And I was like, what?
Yeah, fuck that person. Yeah. If you're out there, we're watching you. AJ, a game that we do not, hopefully do not have to worry about and will not have to tolerate is Wanderer: The Fragments of Fate. That game is coming out. Well, soon, maybe. I don't know. We've been kind of questioning what the release date would be, and the release date may have gotten leaked today by an online retailer. I'm going to bring up the store page. There it is. Now, normally, AJ, this is for Just for Games. I think is it French? I don't know what the original language for this place is. But it's Just for Games. They were the ones.
Yeah, I think it is because it says Les Shop at the top. Just for Games, Les Shop.
AJ, normally I don't put too much credence into things like this. Normally it's like some generic store listing where it's like, it's like there's some generic dates, placeholder dates that different stores use. And so I was like, that's probably what this is, right? But this store actually tweeted out that they've leaked the release date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's how we found it. That's how Rypop found it. So I saw him post this in our Discord today.
Find this, Rypop?
Rypop is also La Francais. Well, Canadian French, which is not the same. And AJ, I don't believe that we have seen this information anywhere else. It's Wanderer Nomad Edition. It lists everything that it comes with physically and digitally. So along with the release date, they said here's physical collectibles that come in it, postcards, a double-sided poster, a wood rock, this is their version of Woodstock lyric book. You get some skins for what's the name of the crap? What's the name of your watch that talks to you and floats around and doesn't shut up?
Sammy?
Is that right?
Was it Sammy?
Oh, Samuel. Yeah. Because it's supposed. Oh, right. If I keep talking, I'll spoil something. Yeah. Right. And a bunch of like in-game items, like some cassette tape and whatever, some skins. So
Bryan last week is like, I don't do leaks anymore.
But
I'll talk about them.
yeah. I'll talk about other people leaking shit all day for sure. And so I haven't seen this Nomad Edition anywhere else, AJ. Which I was like, interesting. And the fact that they actually tweeted it out meant that they were intentionally talking about the release date, which, according to them, is March 21st, 2025. We are literally 2 months away, less than 2 months away, from the release of Wanderer: Fragments of Fate, if this is to be believed.
Let me just stop you right there.
Talk to me, AJ.
And for that reason, March 21st, Bryan, I hope to God that this is not accurate.
Because you don't want it to compete.
I do not. I hope this is not true because on March 26th, Bryan, Hitman World of Assassination Trilogy becomes fully playable. Mm-hmm. And this would just be tragic to have two games of this caliber releasing within days of each other.
Yeah, Hitman would
cannibalizing sales, and I know who's going to win this fight.
Hitman would be totally fucked.
Hitman would totally be assassinated. No, this I really hope this isn't true because this being maybe just right next to Hitman. And this being probably going to be a pricey game because last gen, if you remember, it was a $40 game. This is showing this is a physical version, and this is showing as like $50. Not saying that it wasn't worth it. It was 100% worth it. Yeah. But I know how people buy stuff, and they just will not buy this. Most people are probably not going to buy Hitman and this at the same time. I'm playing at the same time.
Yeah,
they're going to buy one or the other and get to the one after the other. And I don't know. I guess the redeeming factor or the one hope is that Hitman's not actually for sale. It's just it's an update. So maybe that'll help, but still, I feel like Hitman's going to take all the attention, and this just cannibalizes, the marketing for both games, and it would be a crappy situation.
Yeah, well, listen, this is almost a week before Hitman, And as you said, Hitman. I think most people who want Hitman on PSVR2 have bought the World of Assassination trilogy already because it's been on sale multiple times since they announced the PSVR2 version was coming, and we know that it's only going to be a $10 fee to get the PSVR2 patch, the upgrade. So I think that it's a little bit of a different situation than we've been in before, because I think most people have already bought World of Assassination and will just need to blow another $10 on release. Also, as a lot of people in the chat are pointing out, this is the physical version. And so far, I feel like Once Upon a Time, Perp was pretty good about kind of doing okay with day and date physical and digital, but that's not been the case very much over the last few releases. Usually the physical is months later. So now, AJ, you and I and all the other content creators on the face of the planet were asked to fill out a Google Doc form for review keys of Wander Fragments Fate like weeks ago, which generally means the release date is going to be announced soon, and the release is impending, and they're getting ready to send out keys, which means this does seem a little bit on the late side.
Talk about that, Brian.
They tweeted it out, AJ.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's okay. And so they, but I appreciate your candor.
I appreciate you doing your homework as always.
Yep. It's so seldom the case. But what they did, so what I think, AJ, is that this will probably be the physical release date.
That would be amazing. That would be, oh my God, that'd be so much better. That is a great point. That I saw somebody in the chat mention. Sorry, I was going to give you a shout out and be like, oh yeah, that's a good point. But your comment is gone now. Yeah, dude. That's right. These never day and date release at the same time with the physical version. The physical version always comes out like maybe 2 months later. So yeah, that would be awesome if this is just the physical version.
And that means the digital version's like legit like 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away at most.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's that close, but it could be, February or sometime. Right?
Well, that's what I was saying. It's January 27th.
Oh, that's right. It is January 27th.
Like, we're almost
that
in
would
February.
Be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It could be. I don't know. This could also be completely wrong. So who knows? But
also true. It could be wrong. But again, we're in a very similar situation to the release of the first version of Wanderer on PSVR 1 and Steam when it was launching day and date, AJ, with Zenith, The Last City, MMO. Yeah. It was like, oh my God. Like, and remember we were like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing, Wanderer? You're releasing for $10 more on the same day as our first MMO. You're out of control. And
that stuff's out of there. Mm.
Yeah, but then when you see that that's happening, don't you say, hey, can we pull back and revise this? Like, we don't want to compete. We don't remember. Do you remember all the different studios that like changed their release date because they didn't want to compete with Batman VR? Right? It was like, that was smart.
Yeah, but Sony's a little bit different, and a lot of the times it's a harder process because once you go through certification, I think you have to pick a date, right? And then that's why some of these games end up accidentally launching because they decide to change they need more time or whatever. And it's like the game was already set for that date and then launches. And it's happened so many times. It happened to Ultra Wings, happened to Genotype. It happens a lot more than you would think.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, if this were to come out right next to Hitman, I would stay far away from Hitman. And hopefully it's a lot sooner than that or well after, because I don't like it when a bunch of big games release at once. And it's because people don't have enough time and money to we do this because we have to do this as a profession. But the normal people, aside from a few dedicated hardcore people, normal people don't usually have the time to keep up with all this day one. They usually wait till it goes on sale or something. But yeah, people are still playing Metro and Behemoth. People haven't even played Metro and Behemoth and Subside and Alien yet. People haven't even gotten to those yet. So you gotta let the catalog breathe a little bit and have this big release like even like once a month is fine. Like one big game a month, I think is plenty.
Yeah, totally fine. Apprentice Summer Scales in the chat said, I thought Wanderer was offering a 25% discount for existing owners or something. Perhaps I'm misremembering. You're not misremembering. In fact, it's going to be a $50 game, and that means it will be $40 for, it's 20% off, I think. So it's $40 for those of us who have already bought it on PSVR 1, which means it's now the same price it was on PSVR 1. AJ, I have high expectations for Wanderer. I think my expectations for Wanderer might be too high, because they are, all the trailers that we've seen are they're showing, all the different locomotion mechanics they've added, from climbing to swimming to jumping, which you couldn't do before. I mean, like all these different things, and they've like added all of these different segments into the game, and it's just like, I keep wondering, like, if that's what they've done to the level design in terms of like giving you more stuff to interact with, and if that's what they've done to the locomotion system. And they keep showing like, oh, hey, here's a super soaker, pour out the water and pour in like, alcohol, and then now use a lighter, and now you've got a blowtorch. It's like, what? You couldn't do that in the original one, could you? Like, they've just added so much to this. I'm wondering, like, how new this is going to feel. And I just think, I hope my expectations aren't too high for it, AJ, because it feels to me like this is going to be one of the best VR games ever made. It already was. And now it's just everything that we wanted it to be and more now.
Yeah, it was an amazing like masterpiece puzzle adventure, and now they're adding more of like a mainstream like action and platforming element to it, and and fleshing out different things. So it just feels like a game for anybody, like potentially like a killer app style game where it's like, you want to experience the best of what VR has to offer, play Wanderer. Like, this has everything. This is action, puzzles, platforming, beautiful graphics, beautiful environments, constantly changing, great story, like all this really good stuff, all this quality productions. This game ended up being so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I was like, I've said it before a million times, but yeah, like when they first showed the trailer for it, it was like a 5-second clip. I was like, this game's going to be awesome, but it's going to be like 3 hours long. Yeah. Like, ain't no way this is going to be, that long. And it was like a 12-hour game, and it was quality and varied. And I was like, holy crap. Like, it's like the best looking game on PSVR 1. It was insane, but yeah, it needs a big win. It deserves, if a game like this can't be successful, then we are in big trouble. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Big trouble.
Yeah. 100% agree. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. And this is actually the first time it's coming to Quest as well. Because I think initially Wanderer just got a Steam and PSVR release, and so now hopefully it's expanding its audience, and people on Quest 3 will be able to enjoy it. And of course, we should be getting the best version of it ever made. Adaptive trigger support, headset haptics, all that. And I don't know, man. Like, why? In my head, I feel like it's running at 90 native. I don't know if they've ever said that, or if I'm just making that up, or whatever. But I feel like that's a thing. And if I'm saying that and that's not a fact, then I apologize. But hopefully we'll find out that kind of information the closer we get to launch. And as we just found out, we are very close to launch. So
yeah, super excited, man. This is my, at this time, this and Hitman are pretty much my most anticipated games of the year so far. With a side shout out to, I don't know, there's some really good looking games this year, man. Like Midnight Run looks awesome.
Midnight Walk, AJ.
Midnight Walk.
You got to walk before you can run.
You gotta walk. That's the sequel.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and the only other like thing that I'd be really excited about is if Bloody Hell Hotel gets an official release.
I'm so glad you're excited about that. Like, that to me doesn't seem like your kind of game. Like it's a hotel management sim with zombie dungeon crawling elements.
Why wouldn't that be my game?
I don't know.
No,
hotel management.
I like the same reason I like the look of Midnight Walk is I grew up, again, I'm a 90s kid, and I grew up with like Tim Burton movies, and I've always loved that art style. It's I've always just loved that like art style and art design, and Yeah, and I love I love stuff like this, man.
Excellent. Yeah, this. I want to know how much of what we're seeing in this is like actual gameplay. This trailer looks incredible, and this is from years ago, right? Like they announced this game like 2-3 years ago or something like that, and it's still, even the flat screen version's not even out yet.
Yeah, I think this is not gameplay, but this isn't like a behemoth situation. It's like the game could very well end up. It's not hard to imagine the game looking like this when it actually comes out.
Yeah. AJ, supposedly we are getting a Gran Turismo 7 update this week. Have you heard anything about this?
A little bit. I've heard a little bit of rumblings. Yes.
What have you heard so far?
Honestly, I didn't know about like a big update. Oh, how did we not talk about No Man's Sky 2? But that the No Man's Sky update, I'm definitely more looking forward to. But as far as I know, I don't know how big this update is supposed to be, but I thought that this was just some new cars. I don't know if there's more than that supposed to happen.
Well, it's a good thing our good friends over at GT Planet have us covered, because
they're not our friends.
I've literally never talked to them. They probably hate
it is a great website though. It is the most hardcore. I mean, it's a website dedicated to Gran Turismo.
Yes, I say that everybody's our friend, AJ.
I know. So I know.
We'll just smile and nod on that one. They say Gran Turismo 7 January 2025 update is coming next week. This is from Andrew Evans over at GT Planet 2 days ago. It says it's been a quiet few weeks for news on the next big update for Gran Turismo 7, but we now have confirmation it'll be landing on consoles this coming week, most likely Thursday, January 30th. Of course, we've been expecting the January update since it was explicitly mentioned during the Gran Turismo World Series finals in Amsterdam in connection with the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, which was after a leak officially revealed at the event. I don't know what any of these words mean. That event also revealed the chat is saying we're gone. Okay. All right. I think everything just reset. So I think we're good.
Okay, cool.
Good. Cool. Yeah, AJ, I don't remember what we were talking about, but probably for the best. Oh, dude, I was just going to say, how many vehicles have you owned in your life? He's doing long division, you guys. This is a problem.
Hold on.
How many? You tell me in the chat, you guys. How many vehicles have you owned in your life? Like, I want to know what a normal average of vehicles to own after 30 years of driving would be.
I think 6. I think I'm on my 6th.
I am on my 3rd vehicle, and I am older than you by a significant margin. Okay. Null Zero says, I'm 45. I'm on car 5. Ace Gamer's on 4. Old Darth thinks 8. Dude, I have friends that are in double digits who are younger than me significantly. And I'm like, what? I don't know.
I have people at my work that have like a new car like every other week. That's they just, I don't know.
GameCat Photo Nutter in the chat says 17. Okay. Oh, so the number here is a lot lower than I expected it to be. So I just thought owning 3 cars was like an anomaly. But I'm also not traveling.
One of mine doesn't really count either. So maybe more like 5.
AJ, I've also always worked right down the street from wherever I live. Right, I make sure that like I'm like a mile away from work, so so I don't have like this 2-hour commute or something like that. I've never needed a reliable vehicle. The car breaks down, I just get out and keep walking to work, and I'm there almost at the same time. Anyway, so we were talking about this Gran Turismo update. Let's get back to this now that the stream is back. Of course, we've been expecting the January update since it was, we've already talked about that. The event also revealed a new fictional F1 inspired race car called F3500A, clearly built to resemble an early 90s machine. It's 90s extreme F1, AJ.
Oh, God, no.
This was also mooted for an update soon, which widely interpreted as being the same January update. A traditional silhouette teaser on social media from Polyphony Digital chief Kazunari Yamauchi also revealed that not only is the update on its way next week, but also showed off 4 cars disguised in heavy shadows, including both the cars mentioned above in front of the image. So there we go. Seems like a bunch of cars are on the way. AJ, let me tell you something. I am excited for
They got
this,
me.
and here's why. Because I have not played Gran Turismo in like a year,
Yeah.
and over the last couple months, I've dug out. You can't see it, but just off camera, I'm slapping the back of my racing rig. I've dug it out.
Oh!
Tornado has taken. It's now her. It's where she sleeps. So there's a lot of cat hair on it. But I'm ready to get back into Gran Turismo in VR with the racing rig. And so like it doesn't matter even if it's a small update. This is gonna be my excuse to get back in there.
I feel you, man. I think about Gran Turismo all the time and how much I want to play it. And yeah, it's just I just haven't gotten around to playing it, but I think about it probably at least once a week, and I'm like, I need to find some time to like jump in and play a little bit, grind a little bit, unlock some stuff. Because yeah, it is one of the most immersive experiences ever.
Sorry, I'm looking for a different trailer to play here. Did you want to say anything about the No Man's Sky update? I have not been following No Man's Sky. I don't know what's going on with No Man's Sky, and so if there's a big update that you want to talk about, like
there's nothing, there's no details yet. But Sean Murray did his usual, he always tweets out
the
an
emojis.
emoji.
Yeah, yes. So the 2 planets, right? The 2 Saturn-looking ones.
Yeah, he'll tweet out like an emoji, and then he'll tweet that emoji again like 3 times. I don't know what it means, but some people are speculating that it is the No Man's Sky Worlds Part 2. If you remember, the last big update was Worlds Part 1, and that was like huge. That completely reset the game like again with like new environments, new flora, new fauna, like all this new stuff. So it is very possible that the No Man's Sky Worlds Part 2 update is dropping this week, and it usually ends up dropping on a Wednesday. So
okay,
we don't have official word of when it's going to drop. It could drop tomorrow, but typically it's usually, most of the time it's Wednesday. Sometimes it's been a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Do you also say Wednesday accidentally occasionally, like I do?
I mean, I should.
Oh, I mean, I'd say it accidentally.
I say Wednesday when it's Wednesday, but other than Wednesday, I say Wednesday.
All right. Guys, I'm jumping all over the place right now, but I just got a text from my friend John that disk drives are back in stock on the PlayStation Store. So if they have been super hard to come by. I think they're like $80, and like they've just been out of stock everywhere for the longest time. And so if you've been looking for one, they are now back in stock on the PlayStation Store for $80. Get it direct from the source. Just a heads up, everybody. I might actually buy one because I didn't think I was going to need one for my Pro, and then every time I turn around to go play something, it's like a game I have on disc, and I'm like, oh, craziness.
Yeah, I'd still like to get a Pro at some point, but I really need like a logical reason to get one. Like I know I'm gonna have to get one at some point, most likely. And No Man's Sky and Gran Turismo, I mean, those are some of the 2 best games to get one for. But I just don't know. I want to give it some more time. I'm really trying to hold off and be like, no, like Sony, I'm playing hard to get with Sony a little bit. And it's like, you got to be like, here's an actual PS5 Pro enhancement for the thing, and quit leaning on developers to do all the work for you. Like you got to show me your commitment. But I would like to get a Pro at some point, especially for No Man's Sky. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna hold off a little bit longer.
I think No Man's Sky is the best reason to have a Pro at this point. I was actually surprised doing back to back on the same planet and seeing how much better it looked. Like, wow, I didn't think it was gonna be something I would notice, but I do. And I mean, and Subside with like the real time shadows for the items that you're able to pick up in the water and your own hands, like that's it's the kind of thing, AJ, that you don't feel like you wouldn't miss until you've experienced it, right? It's like, because Subside and No Man's Sky on the OG PS5 look stunning, they look beautiful, but then it's like sort of once you get accustomed to them playing on the Pro, and then you try to go back, that's when you like go, oh wow, I didn't realize how much of a difference this makes.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, don't play anyone else's Pro is my advice, because you won't know what you're missing if you don't have it. They're not these massive upgrades, but they are nice. I think it won't be till PSSR support comes along, and developers don't have to actually put that much work into it to make their games look better. They just like check a box and go, hey, look how much better this looks.
That's basically the story of how I ended up getting a PS4 Pro and how I got my friend to get a PSVR. Was he had a Pro for like Horizon and stuff, and I had a PSVR, but a base PS4, and he brought it over and we played. We were like, dude, we should combine our forces here and check this out. So we tried out PSVR on a Pro, and we played Resident Evil, and I think it was like Resident Evil. I don't know if that got pro patch, but it was like Star Wars experience. The Star Wars experience was pro enhanced. There was like a couple different pro. That's what it was. It was the Star Wars not Star Wars Squadron. Star Wars.
The Rogue One experience, right?
Rogue One experience. Yeah. And he went out and bought a PSVR after trying that, and I went out and bought a PS4 Pro.
Nice.
But
dude, Resident Evil 7 looks so much better on the PS4 Pro.
The only reason I haven't yet is because games already look good on a PS5, right? Like that's really the only reason. It's like this already looks really good. Like I don't. It's not the same jump from a base PS4 to a PS4 Pro. It's not like that big of a jump. It's like this already looks good. Games on base PS4 looked pretty bad, and that cleaned it up. So
yeah. I thought this was my gameplay footage, but this is somebody else's gameplay footage. I just brought up Rogue One, and I have no idea where I got this footage from.
But once it gets some kind of like official support and developers aren't just like slightly tweaking, a couple minor things here and there to take advantage of the more hardware, if Sony would have made a PSVR2 version of Dreams, I would have had a Pro right now. So good job, Sony, on not selling me.
Alberto Mopam Gato with the 50 Mexican pesos says, sup, Bryan. Sup, AJ. Sup, GameCats. It's been a while. I finally got myself a PSVR 2 last Christmas. I wonder if it means this Christmas.
Woohoo!
Next Christmas. 2 Christmases ago. Now, it must mean last month. So here's hoping to join you some Sunday. Saludos. Yeah, dude. Okay, so my
Alberto Mopam, the game gato. It's been a long time since I've been able to say that. What up, man?
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah. Yeah. My dirty little secret is that I'm never around on Sundays, right? I generally work I work a lot from like Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday is usually the day that I just like either go see my family or I take off completely, and I catch up on sleep and all that. So I do not show up for the multiplayer meetups all that often, but I need to. I want to. I just need to start kind of like making it a commitment. So I'll
I thought I'd be joining a lot more than I do, but I just don't have time anymore.
I'll tell you, the ones that'll get me back in there are going to be Walkabout, because I need to play some new courses. I need to have an excuse to play the new courses. And if anybody's, if Phasmophobia, I don't even know if Phasmophobia has been
one of the games yet. You just play that anyways, though. Like
well, AJ,
you're already in there.
Like as expected, once the review is done, I have to move on. Yeah. And that's why I didn't want to move on. That's why I didn't want to finish the Phasma review. That's why I spent 100+ hours before doing the Phasma review. It's because I knew it was going to happen, and I've already kind of moved on. I do play like once a week for like an hour, but I was playing like every day for multiple hours before. I'm not ready to move on. I'm not ready to move on.
I'm saying all these trigger words like dreams and squadrons.
People in the chat are going nuts. Right?
Wipe out. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Ben Schroeder with the $5 tip says, have a meeting. Gonna catch us later, but love you both. Keep having this Bryan guy on your show, AJ.
Will do. You got it, because you said so, Ben.
Yeah. All right, man. What are we up to? Oh, that's it. Oh, we get okay.
Yeah.
I got to be honest.
We threw in some extra stuff because like No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
There was the top downloads of 2024. I'll maybe let you and Wes cover that though.
Yeah. I don't think there was anything special on that. But real quick, AJ, I gotta tell a story or something. I gotta pick a game for the 4-minute challenge.
Oh my God, a story. I wasted my story on
back.
The look on your face.
Okay.
Was
back.
The look on your face.
Okay.
It was like your eyes were piercing through me.
Yeah, luckily we only went up for a few seconds that time. So
cool.
Man, what a mess this has been.
That could have been so much worse.
Yep, let's not talk about it. Okay. Cool. Well, in the meantime, I picked a game. So AJ, you have 4 minutes and an infinite number of questions. Yes and no questions. Figure out what PSVR 1 or PSVR 2 game I'm thinking of. Guys, everybody help him out in the chat. This is way harder than you'd expect it to be. So let's do it. 4 minutes. On your mark. Get Des.
Cats.
Go.
Is it on PSVR 2?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Is it on PSVR 1?
No.
Oh my God. Thank you. For once. Okay. Still going to be hard though. This is harder than it sounds. Is it a puzzle game?
No.
Is it single player?
Yes.
Does it have multiplayer?
No.
Is it a launch game?
No.
I'm going full chat here. Does it have full locomotion?
Yes.
Is it educational?
Not intentionally. That's not the purpose it serves. No.
It's not a purpose. Is it a wave shooter?
No.
Is it a horror?
You could definitely argue that there's horror elements, yes.
Has this developer made other games on PSVR 2?
No.
Has this developer made games on PSVR 1?
No.
Okay. Is it anime?
No.
Okay, that was a good guess, Zach Lightning.
That was a good one, yeah.
Is there time travel?
No.
Does it have a gorilla?
No. I don't think so.
Is it single? No. Did you say it's single player only?
Yes.
Okay. Is it about a game show?
No.
Is it based on a popular IP?
No.
Is there also a flat version?
No.
Is there a train in it?
Yes.
Is there a toy train in it?
No.
There's a train in it, but there's not toy trains in it. Game has a train in it. Is it is Train Chase an actual game?
Yeah.
Is it an actual PSVR 2 game?
Yes. Are you talking about Train Chase? Get back on topic. You've only got a minute.
I don't know what Train
left.
Chase is.
It's
I know what
cheap,
toy trains
cheap
is.
game where you're on top of a moving train and you just shoot down stuff as you're moving. It's like a $3 game or something.
Is this game a cheap game where you're on top of a train
no,
and you're
no,
shooting stuff?
No,
and
stop
really
talking
cheap,
about Train
and
Chase.
It's like $3.
No.
I almost had you. Oh, ooh, is this game based on a popular IP? Did you say that?
You already asked, and the answer is no.
Oh, no. Okay, so it can't be Metro. You said you're, okay, no. Is this a shooter?
Yes.
It is a shooter. It has a train. I know what it is. Is it cartoony?
No, it's not cartoony.
It's not cartoony. So it's not Gaslers, you guys. I'm wrong. What else has a shooting in a train? Oh, is there zombies in this?
No.
No. Is this a crossword puzzle game?
No.
Is Travel the Words a crossword puzzle game?
Yes, it is.
Is it sci-fi?
Yeah.
Is it based off another series or inspired by another series?
I don't think so. No.
You don't think so? Is this did this game recently announce that it sold over or made over $800,000?
800,000 copies. Yes.
This game did recently sell over 800,000 copies
Across all platforms.
across all platforms. Bryan,
Yep.
does
Yeah.
this game kick massive loads of ass?
It does. You have 5 seconds left. Hurry the fuck up.
Is it Into the Radius?
AJ, coming out on PSVR2 September 19th, 2024 by CM Games, published by Fast Travel. This is, in fact, Into the Radius. And shout out to Markio, who got this with 2 minutes and 11 seconds to spare. Well done, Markio.
Way to go, Markio. Let's go. There is a train. Yeah, there's definitely some train. Dude,
I'm
I was
hovering above the ground. It's not a useful train by any stretch of the imagination.
I was honestly wanting to do this. I texted you earlier or whatever because I wanted to do this as the headline.
Excuse me.
Because, dude, I like Into the Radius is so good.
Yeah,
it's so good, and I'm pretty far in this game. Like I'm like 75-80% through it.
Oh,
and
it's so good as you get like that's when it starts. I think that's when it starts getting really, really good, right?
Really,
it's like, yeah. I mean, like some of the missions I was on around that point was just like it's like, oh, there's a building over there. I didn't know I was going to spend like an hour and a half in that building. It was like the whole mission is just like me traversing this building and like being like, this is crazy. It just starts feeling like so well designed. I mean, the whole thing feels well designed, but it just starts feeling like it comes into its own like by the halfway 2/3 mark.
It's an amazing game. I think it's going to end up being really high. Oh, it was like top 5 on the top 50 list, right?
Yeah, I think so. And it's been patched
huge.
even more since then, right? So like it's less janky than it's ever been. It's such an amazing game.
It is amazing. And on top of this, I recently read Roadside Picnic, which inspired the Stalker series, which inspired the Metro series, which inspired the Into the Radius series. So I've been like totally immersed in this like sci-fi weird like aliens visit us and leave behind relics and going into the zones. I've been like way into this stuff lately, and
nice.
it's such a cool concept and a cool world. But dude, Into the Radius, man, like what a game! I'm so happy to hear that it has sold so much, and that the not only did it sell over 800,000 copies across all platforms, Bryan, but they came out and said that the PSVR2 version exceeded their expectations of what they were going to sell. So I know last time I checked, it had over like 1,000 ratings, which is really good. For like an indie game, like that's really, really good. So this game's doing pretty well.
It had such a great reputation before it even came to PSVR 2. Like when this was announced, I just remember everyone being like, "Oh my god, this is my favorite PC VR game! I'm so happy it's finally coming to PSVR 2." And then I like, when I finally played it, I was like, "Oh, I understand why. That's amazing." And this is a small team that didn't grow like crazy when they started selling their game a lot. This is a small team who remains relatively small and are making their second game the same way they made their first game by putting it out into Steam Early Access years before it's going to be done, and then talking to the community and adding what the community wants over the course of time. And like, I interviewed these guys and they basically were like, yeah, it's come to Into the Radius 2 will come to PSVR 2. They're like, but we're literally talking six years from now. Like we are going to be in early access with the second game just as long as we were with the first game. And so when we finally get to PSVR 2, it'll be the full release. And it's like, there's something about that I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with it. That's a long time to wait for any game.
That's a really long time, but I'm kind of okay with it too. Like I'd rather it be good.
Yeah.
That is a long time though. But
yeah, what those Steam gamers deal with this nonsense, and then by the time it gets to us, we'll be real happy with it.
Yeah, considering what I've heard about the state that the second game is in right now, that's definitely a good thing. I don't think it'll be 6 years, but
no, but it'll easily be 3 or 4.
Yeah, like a couple years.
Yeah. Pietrek F with the 12 plantains in the chat says, why is Without Parole doesn't do PSVR2 Game Awards? Well, we do. We just didn't do one this past year because I had a mental breakdown and I needed some time off. Every so often, and it's not often, but every so often I do prioritize my own mental health over the channel. And because there are times, Pietrek F, that I want to walk away and never come back. And then when I get a little bit of perspective and I get a little bit of time off, I go, no, I fucking love this. I love this, right? It's called burnout. And and unfortunately it happens to me and it happens to everyone. If you work for yourself, it's really hard to avoid because there's no one to tell you to take a day off. There's no one to tell you like, go home. You're done for the day. So, Hamoud says 6 years. We might have a new headset by then. I mean, I think we'll at least be on PlayStation 6, still using our PSVR2 headsets. I think that's how it's going to go down. Yeah. AJ, a fun show as always. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody make sure you go subscribe to AJ on his boring channel that doesn't cover PSVR2 games anymore. Click the link in the description below. Are you streaming? You said you're playing a lot of Final Fantasy. Are you streaming any of this or are you just playing it for your own enjoyment?
I streamed the first 2.5 hours. Nice. I streamed the first chapter and then the rest of it I've been just playing on my own time. I want to stream it, but it's really special to me. It means a lot. It's my favorite game of all time. And so like I also want to enjoy it as well. But I don't know. I've been trying to figure out like a good PSVR2 game to stream. The thing is with a lot of PSVR2 games, like we get review keys early and we can't stream it then.
Yeah. And
then they have like a review on launch day. And then, you know, it's kind of time to like move on in most cases. So yeah, this is where like I don't know. This is why I've been just like having a little bit of fun and streaming, but I've been just like you said, you know, doing a mental health thing and just trying to keep it balanced, get all the important stuff, make sure I cover all the important stuff. And then when I want to just have some fun too.
Yeah. Dude, I feel you. Like Awesome Tatum in the chat says, LOL, I just got Dino Crisis 3 to play tonight. Tatum and I are in the same boat right now with retro gaming. I'm actually super heavy into Nintendo DS games. So like when I'm not doing VR stuff or sitting here editing stuff for the channel, like I want to get away from VR and I want to play like some retro games that I haven't played before. Super heavy into Nintendo DS right now. Also very heavy into OG Xbox. There are so many amazing exclusives on the OG Xbox. And AJ, my original Xbox finally died. I've owned the same original Xbox for about 20 years now. I bought it for $50 about 20 years ago. And so when it came time to replace one, I kind of went all out with it. I bought like one that's refurbished with new rubber bands for the disk drive, new capacitors. This dude installed a bigger hard drive for it, custom firmware, everything, right? It's got different video out options. Crazy. So I'm playing a lot of OG Xbox games these days as well.
Nice.
So it's important I think it's important because I love video games so much to find something that like really keeps you energized and passionate about gaming when you have to play games like Gorilla Attack. You know, like I seriously hate my life when I have to play games like a Gorilla Attack.
That's why I just skipped it. That's why I just started skipping shit like that.
Man. I know, but I want to warn people about it. I want there to be a 2-minute Bryan bite out there this week about Gorilla Attack and be like, hey guys, here's why it's 1 out of 3 paws. You know?
Yeah, so. I just don't think.
It's my job, AJ.
I know, but I don't think there's people looking at that and being like, I need a review for this to see if it's good. Like, yeah. I don't even think anybody cares that that's on there. So I don't know. Well, I appreciate, you know, covering everything at the same time. It's like, if nobody cares, then you don't have to review it.
Dude, what I prided myself on Without Parole when I first started was covering the games that nobody else cared about, right? It's how do you find your niche within a niche? And so covering bad games, I mean, very few people care about VR. Even fewer people care about PSVR2. But then there's all these games that are on the store that people haven't even covered. People haven't reviewed or done Let's Plays of. And I'm like, I felt like that was always where I belonged. Where I was like, hey, if you see a game on a store, there's going to be coverage somewhere on Without Parole about that game. And I've fallen off of that a lot. Yeah, actually, Jamie is really, really good for this kind of stuff. Jamie puts out a video about everything. That's why Jamie is a better YouTuber than I'll ever be. And he has nicer hair than I have.
Says AJ says that, but look how many people bought Grand Rush. You made a review on Grand Rush saying how bad it was.
And I got 52,000 views.
Oh, you have what?
52,000 views on that Bryan bite.
Oh my Jesus!
This is what I'm talking about, right? Like every so often. So these
you didn't stop anybody from buying it, so you failed.
I probably stopped a couple people from buying it.
Probably a couple,
right? But not enough. Not nearly enough. No. I need to get better at making Bryan bites, AJ, because I do. They're like, they're supposed to be these 2-minute videos that only take like 3 or 4 hours to make. And so I need to start getting better at making them, because I still get that perfectionist mentality that I have when I make reviews when I'm doing Bryan bites. So I got to get over that and just like kind of push these videos out a little bit more frequently. I would like to get 1 out a week. That's the goal. 1 Bryan bite out a week, 1 review out a week, PSVR this week, and 3 GAMESCAST, and I'll be pretty happy. So, oh no, Jamie's in the chat. Okay, so he heard me say that he's got better hair than I do. You've got to at least admit that, Jamie. Okay. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. Thank you so much, AJ. Again, thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks, everyone who supports the channel, whether it be Rypop that uploads this on podcast services of your choice, or what day is it today? Monday. Rody, the GameCat Army General, for putting timestamps into the show after the fact. Anybody that supports the channel financially over on patreon.com/without-parole games, or by being a member over here, you have no idea how much I appreciate it. You guys are keeping the lights on, keeping the channel running, but we also just are happy that you're here. So thank you for being part of this awesome community. Come join us over on Discord. Click the link in the description below. That's where these conversations happen 24/7. Thanks everyone who hangs out during the show, shoots the shit, helps out during 20 questions, wins 20 questions like Markio did, and all those who sit back and watch the show and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Happy Monday, AJ. I thought you were frozen for a second till you blinked.
Kill the motherfucking cat, Bryan, because I want to say this to you guys on West Day to Old Darth. He says, bye-bye. Shout out to you, Old Darth. I saw you there commenting. I still got to go back and watch the Virtual Strangers. Watch the Virtual Strangers 2024 show, everybody. Bryan and I are on there. So you get more, and you even get a double dose of me. So just skip that part.
Oh, that's so much, AJ.
TGK2, have a great week, you as well. Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for life, says Q Cat, Chrome Colossus, Chrome to the Dome, thank you so much. Alex Branco, later cats, I'm going back into RoboCop UEVR mod. I blame AJ for everything.
Dude,
yes, blame me, it's all my fault.
Have you played RoboCop in VR? Is it great? Is it amazing?
It's amazing, but it crashes after cutscenes, which sucks. So it's kind of broken, but it's
I certainly don't care anymore. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It would be like 10 out of 10 if it wasn't broken. Guys, on fist bump to you. Jason R.S. Hearts to you. Robbie, bye. Been a pleasure. Thank you, me as well. Ruthless Metal. GG's to you, my friend. Fargo Soft. Thank you so much. Shapeshifter, the Anamorphous Game Cat. The Anomaly Game Cat. Thank you. Appreciate you. Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat for life. Elite Name Squad in the house with the purple Spyro heart. Shades of Gray Matter says hopefully Wes has recovered from that 15-hour stream. Yeah, dude. Hopefully we need to put Wes into cryo storage after that. Headbite says regenerate. I love that. I don't know why. Dan Kiefer, good night. Mark Poppin, Pringles Leaf. Once you pop the mark, don't stop, baby. Evan Yabu says game on, cats. Bino Ramos, my homie. What up, man? Ace Gamer Cat. Thank you so much. Dan Kiefer, Shades of Gray Matter. All of you, Pia Trek F. Thank you. You have a wonderful rest of the night, you guys.
Hell yeah. You know we're gonna meet Scott, the Game Cat for life, at the meetup. Do you know that he's coming? He's flying all the way from the UK to be here.
I do know that.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm so excited.
All right. Who else is coming? The rest of you guys got to come, right?
There's a couple people. Yeah, I kind of lost track with. I know Scott's coming. There was a couple other surprises. I know MGS Fritz, Middle Game Cat Solid Fritz, is coming back.
Nice.
Our good buddy Eco.
Awesome. Is Looper's coming back again too?
Looper!
Dude, this is gonna be so good. It's gonna be so
good. There was a couple other surprises that I wasn't expecting. So yeah, can't wait to see who shows up because Dude, that was like the greatest time ever.
Bro, we gotta get Miles to shove Jammy in his luggage. It's like,
Yes.
right? Just like
I
Miles
agree.
gonna show up with like 10 pieces of luggage. He opens them up, they're all just game consoles.
Bad news, guys. I killed Jimmy.
No.
But good news, on the plus side, he is here.
He's at
the along. I've got good news and bad news. Which one you want first?
All right, guys. Have a great Monday. We'll see you soon. We love you. Good night.
Meow.